So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today. And the session today is going to be on notifications, and we're just going to take a deep dive and talk through notifications within Clinked. So, for today, you've got Sarah and myself, and this is our agenda for this afternoon. So, we're going to be looking at what are notifications, types of notification, the default group settings, how to do content following, notifying others, and then we're going to look at different settings, so group settings, personal settings, and then we'll talk you through our resources. And we will have our Q&A session at the end, so if you have any questions, please do ask them in that session at the end. So firstly, we're just going to have a look at what notifications are in Clinked. So notifications provide a way to let you know content has been interacted on within your groups. Notifications are used to allow group members to be alerted of changes or updates on content they're involved in. And Clinked provides each member notifications of activity for the groups that they are members of. So in Clinked, we have 3 different types of notifications, and these are within the portal, email and mobile. So firstly, we're just going to talk through the portal notifications. And so what do these look like and where you can find them? So portal notifications will be received in the top right-hand corner of the dashboard when a member is logged in. So you can see there's a green arrow, and that's the 2 types where you'll find portal notifications. And so there's a globe icon on the left, and that is for assigned tasks and event invitations. So if you've been invited to an event or assigned a task, that will pop up on the globe one. And to the right, we have the alarm icon, and that is for content, interactions, and task updates. So the notifications will appear in a list format as pictured, and you have the option to mark as read to clear the notifications once you have read these. So we're just going to take out what the email notifications look like within Clinked. Email notifications will come across at the same time as the portal notifications, and the email notifications are customized with your branding. The logo shown is the account logo pulled through from the branding section of the account settings. And the message will include details and links to the content, group and person that took the action to trigger the notification. And for those of you who are using the Clinked mobile app, mobile notifications will flash up on your mobile screen. You can also locate them within the mobile app as the alarm, as you can see on the image of the phone, and the number of notifications that you have will be shown in red. And once you tap on this will navigate you to the notification screen on your phone. So what is the default setup for notifications? So without making any changes, the default setup is to receive any type of notifications. But to do this, you will need to be a member of the specific group where the content updates are taking place. So yeah, if you want people to be receiving notifications, you need to make sure that they are a member of that specific group first. And then once you've either created or interacted on a piece of content, that will mean that you will automatically receive notifications for that content. So new content added will not automatically generate notifications, but you can notify others, and that's something that we're going to talk you through later. And that will create a notification trigger. And also, if you're an assignee for tasks or events, you will receive notifications for these. And as you can see under that image for notifications, you've got the 3 options there. We'll go through them in more detail later. And yeah, there's that content following option. So I'm just now, nextly, I'll just talk you through the content following and how to use that. So what is content following? It's basically any group member can choose to follow or unfollow a piece of content by looking for the red flag icon. So you can see there, we've got the flag options there. So when this is enabled, this will be red to signal that you are following the content, and then you will receive notifications. And when disabled, the flag will be grey to signal that you are not following the content and will not receive notifications. So we're just going to show you an example of this in Notes. So you can see there the arrow, and that is showing that you are following the content because it's red. So you just need to click on that flag, and that will ensure that you are receiving notifications on those minutes. And the location of the content following is slightly different in files, so we'll just show you that. And where the client A folder, you can just see where that arrow is. You just need to go to that three dot symbol and then select follow, and then that will turn the flag red, and you will receive notifications for that folder.
As Hannah mentioned before, we also have the option by default within groups. There, you will not actually get a notification when new content has been added. The reason for that is you may want to set up a bunch of files inside of a folder, and you don't necessarily want to have multiple emails that are going to be going across to the group members, just notifying them that the content is there. Because this is a default setting, one of the options that we have is the option to be able to notify others. So when you are actually, how to actually use notifying others, you use this when you're actually uploading content. So when you upload content, after it's been uploaded and you see it in your files section, you are able to actually see this light blue notification that's up there. And so this is actually in the portal. Let's have a closer look of what that actually does say. So in this case, it says, I've uploaded a file. This is the name of the file, and I have the option here to notify others. If I was to click on that option, another window will pop up, which actually comes up with an automated message. That automated message gives you an option to be able to send a message to all of the members of that group. So you can see here where it says BudX Fund 1. This is in relations to BudX is the account itself, and then Fund 1 is the group. In this case, this would be sent to all members of the group as an email as well as a portal notification. In this situation, this is actually an editable field. If you want to change it, you absolutely can. If you wanted to make it so that it was only going to one person, you could also do that. So let's have a look to see what that actually looks like. So you can see here, there's the notify others section that's coming up, but you can see I've highlighted Evelyn Sabato's name. What I've done here is actually been able to choose an @mention. So @mention is a way to automatically create someone to be following a piece of content. So in this regard, Evelyn is the only person who will actually receive this notification. The reason this is important is because if you use the other option, which we'll just go back to real quick, if we do this other option where it's BudX Fund 1, even if this file is actually a permissioned file or a permissioned folder, because this is the option within the message itself, you will actually send a message to all members of the group regardless of the permissions. If someone's not permissioned to the file or the folder, they won't be able to access it, but they will receive a notification. So just as a caveat for that, this is a great way for you to be able to just tag one person when you've uploaded new content and you want to be able to start them following it right away. Now, after you've entered that information as you want to, and you can add other text in here too if you want to as well, once you hit share, you will actually generate two pieces of content or two notifications. One will come across as an email based upon the group default settings, and then also as a portal notification. So the email that will come across will actually come across from here. So I was the one who actually sent this, so hence it's coming from me. It went to Evelyn, and you see, as Hannah mentioned before, your logo is featured there. So in this case, the account is BudX, and then you've got a note about a new notification. I have @mentioned Evelyn, so that's why it's in the message, and you see everything that we put into the message. Then you've also got the portal notification. So similarly in Evelyn's portal, you can see I'm logged in as Evelyn. She can see in her notifications the actual message that's there, and she can mark this as read if she wants to. So this is a really great tool if you want to be able to notify someone of content. You have gone with the group settings to not notify people of new content being added, and you can have it as a quick way to be able to send that content without having to do very much more than that. Hopefully that helps. If you want to go away from the default settings when setting up a group, that's what we want to go through today. So as of right now, notification settings, when you create a group, and this is an example of the group settings area, you can see here after you've created a group, you have the option, many of you this will be very familiar, you have the options of always changing the tool types. You can enable them, disable them, and be able to customize what tools you see here on the left. In addition to that, you have the option within underneath client tools to open up notifications. And this is what you're seeing here is actually the default settings. So as of right now, from a default perspective, any content that's being followed by the members, they'll get notifications on, and we'll go through what those actual email notifications cadences are on the next slide. But you can also, in this area, actually change the experience that you want all group members to have. Now, these are the three areas that we're going to go through right now. The first option is disable content following email notifications. That means if your group members have said, I'm receiving way too many emails, I don't need to receive emails, I just actually want to be able to get the portal notifications that come right here, or I'm using the mobile app and I just want to receive, I'm just going to get the push notifications that come across on the mobile app, which they can control just like they always do on any mobile device, on their device itself within that app. In this case, if they did disable content following by just checking the box off here, what it would mean is no email notifications will be sent to any of the group members. So it's not an option we recommend from a default perspective, but it depends upon the experience of which you're trying to define with your members of each individual group. And mind you, this can be different for each individual group. So you as a group admin or an account admin have the rights to be able to make this experience different for every single one of your groups. The second option is to configure new content notifications. So this is what we were discussing earlier. Notifying others is very useful to be able to select when you want to be able to flag up a piece of content that should be shared across the entire group, or if you want it to go to one individual group member. However, some of our clients sometimes like to be able to, within their groups, configure it so no new content notifications can be sent out to a member. So as soon as a new piece of content is uploaded into Clinked, or a new note is created, or event or task and things of that nature, they'll get an email notification. What does that mean? When they actually come on to, when you actually click this to configure it, you do have the option to choose your cadence. So the emails can be sent immediately, they can be sent daily as a summary, or they can be sent weekly as a summary as well. So just depends on the experience you're trying to create for your clients or any of the members of your group. Also, there's the option to be able to configure overdue task notifications. If you're a heavy task user, or task usership group, then I would suggest that this could be one that you look at. What you do when you check this box off, it basically allows it so that you can either have a daily summary of any overdue tasks in that group, or a weekly summary. So that's where an email will actually go to all group members just summarizing all tasks that are overdue at this point in time. So those are the different options with the other group settings, all things for you to be able to explore. We do have some other content that you can look at. Most of you, I believe, are either account admins or your group admins, so this is a good slide in particular for you to have an awareness of in case you want to have a slightly different experience based upon what you're trying to develop for your end users. With that, every single person within using Clinked, every member has the rights within their personal settings to change their email notifications. So where do we find that? We actually find it in our personal settings. So if you come onto here, this is a screenshot of Hannah's view. If Hannah had gone up to her name here and hit the drop down, she has the option to hit personal settings. When you come into personal settings, if you go to notifications, this is where you can actually control your email notification settings. So that's your personal email notifications. Regardless of what groups you're in, this is a universal settings for yourself. By default, we have it set up so that it's immediately, and never. So that's where, immediately you get notifications on any content you're involved with. So that means if you're getting mentioned, if there's tasks that you've been invited to be the owner of, or events that you're participating in, you have the option to be able to, you'll get an email notification immediately. And this is also dependent upon the settings of the group settings as well. So just always keep that in mind. If you have someone who's saying they're not getting notifications, sometimes you just need to come into their personal settings and have them adjust these settings themselves. So how does this look when you come to the default setup? As I mentioned before, we have it set up so it's notifications that involve me. You get an immediate notice on. Notifications on content I follow is immediately as well. You can change these though, as you can see here. So you can actually change the notifications on content I follow to be either immediately, daily, weekly, or never. Personally, I always keep mine as immediately because it is content that I'm following. However, it depends on how active of a group it is. You might want to change it to daily or weekly, depending upon how often you're inside of the portal as well. Lastly, you can change the notifications for overdue tasks as well. So you can also personalize your group settings. So say you're an individual who knows that the group always has notifications that are sent on content that I follow, but you want to change that or how often it's actually coming. An individual member does have the rights to be able to change their own custom settings by coming into the same area, so personal settings, notifications, and then hitting this drop down arrow that's just at the middle of the screen. This is where you can define custom settings if you wish, separate from the client notifications, so as well as the cadence itself. So if you were to click on that, you'll get a drop down of any of the groups that you're part of. In this case, we're showing for Hannah that she wants to be able to make some changes into Fund 1. She would be able to actually adjust it. So she usually has it where, say she actually wants to get new notifications on content that she's following, not immediately, she just wants it daily. She'd be able to come here, hit edit, and be able to see just that. So with that, I've just given you a ton of information. I realize that we've gone through that a bit quick. So we just want to highlight a few things for you to be able to make sure that you know where resources are to be able to help you. So within Clinked, you have the option, if you're, as an account admin, if you have this available for all of your clients, anyone's able to actually find this by coming into their personal settings, just like, or their profile area here to the right, clicking on it, and coming down to help. Now, some of you, when you go into Clinked or when your clients come into your environment, you may have actually turned this off. So there is actually an option here to allow within the account settings to turn off the help and the request features area. Completely makes sense. We've made it available for you to be able to turn it off because this is a white labeled product, and so therefore you may not want them knowing that they can go to the help center within that's offered by Clinked. So with that, if you're in the help center or if you're in your own personal environment and you want to be able to and you have access to the help center, just come into your personal to your area and then just hit help. That will navigate you into the help section. Now, if you've turned it off, we've also actually made available a help and learning center. This is actually available on our website. You can go directly over to resources and that top section there, which is the help and learning center. If you click onto it, you'll actually be able to come to this area. On here, you can type in a topic that you'd like to cover. So let's just say it's notifications. If you typed in notifications there and hit enter, you will automatically come to our help center. So always a way for you to be able to come and find us if you turn off the help center within Clinked. Also, this is something you can direct all your clients to if you'd wanted to. Also, just like this is one of what we call our Zoominars. So the latest Zoominars are always up here as well. So if you've missed a session, you can come back here and be able to access the latest ones. And this also gives you access into our YouTube channel, so you can go back and listen to any of the other ones that you potentially would like to look at too. And again, that's our webinars are what we call Zoominars. So we have all of those available here in the Help Center. They're also on our YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to that at clinked.com. So with that, I'd like to open this up to Q&As. As Hannah mentioned beforehand, this is an open session. So if you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question, please do. If you feel more comfortable by putting that into the chat, you can also put it there. So with that, does anyone have any questions that Hannah or I could help you with? And while you all are typing away or thinking about it, I guess I'll have a question for Hannah. Hannah, I know as part of the client success team, you are getting questions from our clients often about how to do different things, different solutions, different potential use cases. Is there anything in particular that's been coming up on the notification side of things that you could share, or tips and tricks that we can share around with the group?
Yeah, think sometimes people are saying that like, their clients are receiving too many notifications. So yeah, for that you just need to really make sure that your settings are on that disable option that we talked through, and just like yeah, altering the personal settings as well. Whether it's if you want to make sure that they are receiving them, or you want to restrict how many they are receiving. It's always really good just to check your personal settings and the group settings as a starting point.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think the personal settings is the one that has, when I've been troubleshooting with people, we tend to go into quite a bit. And I know this is one of the things, Emma, I think you and I have gone through this a little bit recently. As if you are all our account admins, always remember you have the rights to be able to log in as a client or as a member of a group. So to be able to do that, you can all you need to do is go to the members area of your account, navigate to the individual, and then from there you can actually go into their individual profile on the right, and then you'll be able to actually log in as that member. So if you do that, if someone's been reporting, hey, I'm getting a lot of messages, or I don't know what's happening right now with these notifications, you can use that option to be able to actually log in as them, and you can check their personal settings. The personal settings is where we find notifications can sometimes go awry. We don't always advertise, or a lot of our clients, admins and group members don't necessarily, or group admins don't necessarily advertise the personal settings side. So that's up to you as to whether or not you want to do that. But often, members they have access to that area, so they'll have a look at their own personal settings and change cadences if that's something that's been reported. So with that, does anyone else have any additional questions to be able to bring up on the topic of notifications specifically, of course? Okay, well, with that, we've got a couple more minutes. Hannah, is there anything else on your side with the notifications? Maybe anything to do with perhaps the mobile application to share?
Yeah, it's just basically that if you're using the mobile app, it's quite yeah, that's quite convenient for you because it will just as soon as a notification is received in Clinked, you'll get a flash up on your phone. So yeah, just to make sure that that's you're aware of that as well.
And I know I'm a Android user on my side, so whenever I'm setting that up, I have the option to be able to have either it happen as a summary on the slide or as something that pings up. Hannah, I think you're an iOS user. Is that the same thing on your side? Can you
Yeah,
change how
so
it's viewed?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same on Apple, yeah, iOS.
Okay. I know, I think when we're not in the office together these days, we're all working remotely at Clinked. But when we were in the office together, I think Hannah used to get little pings from time to time when something would happen. So I think that's always a nice way to be able to get an easy notification. Okay, well, with that, thank you everybody for joining us. I know I've got one message around in the chat that if there's oh, we've got one question that's just come in. My group keeps getting multiple notifications. Could you expand on that a little bit more in regards to what kind of notifications it is that they're receiving? Are they in the portal? Are they emails?
Well, pings.
And you're actually on you're not muted, so if you'd like to, you can just explain your
Oh,
situation.
okay, I was chatting. Okay, actually, I'm sad because I'm sorry that I don't know the details. We were on a call. I mean, we were connecting, and I was updating some things, and then they were saying, "Oh, I'm getting several notifications," and there
Okay.
were three different people who were on it. Yeah, I'm getting like three, and I said, "Well, I think you should go into the settings." And they said, "Okay, now I'm getting two, which is better than I think at one point somebody had like five." But I don't know where they were, if they were on the computer, if they were on the phones. I believe it was a mixed bag.
Okay. Yeah, so notifications are going to happen. I know you're a bit late to the meeting, but
Party,
we've we
yes.
yeah, that's okay. We've recorded this, so we'll
Okay,
actually
great.
share it around so you can go back and look at it. So as we were just talking about with the team or with everybody here, there are multiple types of notifications that can be received and sent based upon the default settings of most groups.
Mhm.
Often an individual will receive an email and a portal notification if they are following content. That means happens if they have a little red flag that's next to the content. If they've been mentioned in it, if they are following it, they will get all sorts of different notifications when the content's changed, or if someone's added, say, comments into it and things of that nature. Other ways that people get notifications, if you've changed any of the default settings to say maybe update when new content has been added, that's another way that people get email notifications. So there's a lot of different ways. So what we're going to do is I'll circulate this after the call. Probably will be tomorrow. We usually share this around to our entire client base, so you'll be able to actually have a read back and look at it. But I think in this case, it would be good to ask some additional information on your side. Ask, where the notifications are coming from, what groups they're associated with, and if you're an account admin or group admin, you can go into the group settings to be able to see what the group set up as. You can also ask the individuals to go into their personal settings and go to notifications to see what their settings are too, so they can adjust it as they like.
Okay. Yeah, I can go in. I'm in charge of the whole thing. So
Great.
Can I ask you a quick question that came up last night, which is not about notifications?
On that one, if you could actually drop us a note on support@clinked.com, that would be most expedient for us to be able to help you out, because then that way the team would be able to address it. And I think with that, that's actually a good reminder for everybody. If you have any questions that have come up from this or about other topics, just email our team at support@clinked.com. And when you do, please detail what it is that's going on. Provide as much information as you have. Generally, it's what your account is, what the group is that you might be having an issue with, or you have questions on, what the tool area is. So is it in files or notes or tasks? And then also, if you can provide any kind of screenshots or videos, that's really helpful for us as well to be able to do our research and help you out with whatever your query is.
Okay.
Okay, great. So with that, I think, of course, from myself and Hannah and all of us at Clinked, thank you all for joining today, and also thanks for being clients. We really appreciate your time, your business, and hope that Clinked is bringing your entire membership base value. So thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.